Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyaptadehaaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Okay. At the first verse, prayer verse. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta
सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त
Gocharam Tamagocharam
गोचरं तमगोचरम्
Govindam Paramanandam
गोविन्दं परमानन्दम्
Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham.
सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्.
So, we have seen the first 6 verses so far. And what is the primary thing being said there is, given a human life, first step, where we have the ability to choose, and we also have this chaitanyam, this self-awareness, self-judgment. Given these two, we have a special situation in life amongst all living beings, wherein we can gain freedom. But that alone doesn't do it. There is also the free will is really free enough. We are not mechanical. We are able to choose freely. Even that itself is not enough, because even though our free will is free, we don't know how to use it. And therefore, how to use one's free will is taught by the Veda. What way will it help us to grow? How to grow as a human being? And if that Vedic life, Vedic dharma is understood, then living it is important. And even if you live it and you gain a certain mind which is free from conflicts, still sorrow and pain is not something we can be totally free from. Physical pain is to be tolerated, to be put up with. There's not much we can do about it. But the mental pain which goes along with that physical pain, or even without the physical pain, is something that we can definitely work on and be free from to a large extent. Totally, in fact. That is only possible through the understanding of Vedanta Shastra. Therefore, given a human birth, and to whatever extent you have the other things given to you, means you have grown into that you have a life where you have some freedom, you have some leisure, you have a thinking head, not a foolish head which doesn't think. You have a life which is not entirely mechanical. You have an opportunity to have been exposed to what is Vedika Dharma. And you have an opportunity to know the truth of yourself, which is given by Vedanta. If all these are given, who would throw away this opportunity and not make the best of it? This is what the first few verses were about. As to how this life would be a waste unless we used it for what we can gain in this lifetime. In this lifetime, one can gain a total freedom from a sense of lack. That's a potential. If that is the potential, then anything else I gain in life fades in comparison. Because when you know what is possible, only then you can know whether what we are doing compares with it even. So if what is possible is the infinite, settling for anything less just fades in comparison. This is what is said in the beginning, right? Then, so those were the, the first 5 verses in a way. Then the 6th verse said what? Pathantu shastrani yajantu devan. Whether you may read the Shastras, you may worship. Yajantu devan, yajantu can be worship, can mean reaching out, can be helping people, doing whatever is becoming, what is good for you, dharma. Kurvantu karmani bhajantu devata. You do your duties well and you even worship the deities. Still, atmaikya bodhena vina na muktihi, vina vimuktihi, na siddhyati brahma shatantarepi. Brahma shatantara stands for a length of time we cannot even imagine. So what it means is you cannot gain the absolute freedom, vimukti, an absolute freedom from a sense of being wanting, being lacking. That is impossible to gain except by knowing the fact that you have always been free. That vimukti is not possible unless you have known atmaikya bodhena vina. Vimuktihi na siddhyati. Atma aikya bodhena. Aikya means ekasya bhava. Oneness. What is oneness? Not oneness which become two-ness and three-ness. Oneness which is non-dually one. There is no second thing. You cannot count two. When you count one, you can't count two. Swamiji, I count one. I can count any. What's the problem with counting? The way you have to count is you cannot count two. You have to count realities. And when you understand realities, you can only count one. Like you can count 25 golden ornaments, but you can count only one gold. You can count 1,000,000 dresses, you can count only one cotton. In the same way, there is a reality. If you count that, then everything else is as well included. Therefore, unless you know that one most significant thing, which happens to be your count is always going to be flawed. Flawed means not good enough to make you free. And you cannot say, I will count only one when I see 10. You can only count one means there is no possibility of counting two. That is the clarity of understanding. That is what is being said, that without that knowing that non-dual one, which is the truth of all that is, one cannot enjoy an absolute freedom from a sense of lack. All right? So this is what it means by saying, Atmaikya bodhena vina muktihi na siddhyati brahma shatantarepi. All right? Now, what the topic has lent itself to saying what? Bodhena vina. Bodha means knowing, knowledge. Buddha avagamane, to know. So what we are saying now is the freedom that is being talked about, the ultimate freedom. What does that mean by ultimate freedom? A freedom that cannot be improved upon. That freedom is only possible by bodha, by knowledge, not by anything else. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of a fact which is already true. Understand, what we are talking now about is moksha. Okay? We are not talking about artha, kama, dharma. All these can give some relative sense of freedom. But we are not talking of those. We are talking from a freedom which is absolute. And that absolute freedom means if there is one more thing other than me, if there's a place other than me, if there's time other than me, any of those would make me one, and there are others. So to say there is only one is the one which is the truth of time, truth of space, and truth of all that you see in time and space and in your mind. That one is what is being talked about. All right. We are straight away going for the now top, because the whole book is about moksha, Vivek Chudamani. So we have to be very, very clear about this. We are not giving some band-aids right now to fix one scratch here and one scratch there. We're trying to say you don't need any band-aids. Whole life is applying band-aid after band-aid. We want to be free from a need for band-aids. And that is a different order of reality. Therefore, that is only by knowing that order of reality which we don't even think or we don't have any clue about today. Because what is not seen, I don't know about. And what will never be seen is what we are going to talk about now. It is never going to get objectified. It's not like saying, you want an apple? Here's one, take one. It's not like that. But it's an apple everybody knows, yet no one sees it. That kind of an apple. Therefore, this is what now the Moksha Purushartha is being introduced here in Vivek Chudamani. All right. So that said, now let us look at the next verse. What does it say? Amritatvasya nashasti
अमृतत्वस्य नाशास्ति
vitte nityeva hi shrutihi
वित्तेनेत्येव हि श्रुतिः
praviti karmano muktehe
ब्रवीति कर्मणो मुक्तेः
ahetutvam sputam yataha.
अहेतुत्वं स्फुटं यतः.
So now, amritatvasya na ashasti vittena ityeva hi shrutihi. First, he is giving a quotation. What is the context? Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Maitreyi Brahmana. What is the context? There is a person, a great rishi by the name Yajnavalkya. Yajnavalkya is married man and he is married to two women, in fact. One's name is Katyayani, one's name is Maitreyi. And he has been in this pursuit of moksha. He has understood the reality, but he wants time to just be with himself where he can abide in this reality without having to worry about running a household, etc., because all those are responsibilities. Being married means it's a responsibility. Being single does not mean irresponsibility, but being married means a responsibility. Right? Responsibility to what? Responsibility to your spouse, to your children, to your family, extended families on both sides. Therefore, being married means he cannot just do whatever, even though his view of realities may not be, the view of realities of others, he has to accommodate others. He has to make believe, he has to live in the make-believe world of the reality of others. And the value for living the values of one's life, Vaidika Dharma, is so well ingrained that he cannot walk away from life unless he is freed from it. He wants to enjoy the freedom where he is no longer held down by his social obligations, his familial obligations. He wants that time to just be with himself and recognize, abide in the truth that he knows that he is free from all limitations. This is where Yajnavalkya is. And therefore, he wants, and in the Vedika Dharma, there is such a thing as sannyasa. What is sannyasa? Sannyasa is the Veda which introduced you to karma, Veda which tied you to karma, your duties, saying from this day onwards, you shall do Sandhya Vandanam every day, minimally. That same Veda, we petition it to free us from that duties. So sannyasa is about the Veda which gave me duties has to now give me the freedom from duties, because now my goal is to abide in, is to pursue that one truth, which is the vision of the Vedas. Therefore, there's a provision in the Vedic life for this lifestyle called sannyasa. So sannyasa is not just a dress. Sannyasa is really saying, I am freed from my obligatory duties. Why obligatory duties? Because I have no value for kama. I have no value for artha. But nitya naimittika karmas, which the Vedas make it obligatory from me, I cannot walk away from that. I feel bound by them. And I don't want to set a bad example in society. The truth that I'm going to pursue is within the Veda. I have to pursue the Veda still. I need Veda's permission to be taking time off from the obligatory duties I have. This is the background for sannyasa. And I am not giving up my duties to enjoy something else. I'm giving up duties because I don't think any of them are going to give me the freedom I'm really seeking. And they have paid off by giving me this mind, by giving me this preparedness with which I'm able to be just dedicated to this one pursuit without depending on anything else in the world. Therefore, Yajnavalkya wants to take to a life of sannyasa. And to take to the life of sannyasa, he cannot do so unilaterally because he has married. Therefore, he has to get his spouse's permission to walk out of marriage. This is the culture. It's not one-sided. And therefore, he has approached his wife Maitreyi and he's asking her, hey, you know what? I have a desire to pursue this freedom. All right. And therefore, he called it Amritatvam. What is Amritatvam? Freedom from death, freedom from time, hold of time. Why? Because what I'm seeking is to know that this body is within time. That's not my reality. This mind is again within time. That's also not my reality. I am something much bigger than these. I am in fact the truth of time itself. That's the reality I want to pursue. Therefore, it's called Amritatvam. What I'm pursuing is freedom, immortality, freedom from death, freedom from time. And, for that reason, I'm seeking your permission to step out. And you know what? Don't worry. I'm going to take good care of you. I will divide all the properties between you and your co-wife, Katyayani. So you don't have to deal with her anymore. Till now, you have to deal with her because of me. Because dealing with another wife is not easy. Sapatni, means trouble, competition. So you don't want to deal with the other one. And till now, you had to, because you both are tied because of me. Now, I will free you from that. And there is plenty of land and property we have. You don't need to worry. You will get enough and more to live, okay? I'm not going to take anything with me. Sannyasa. I'm not taking anything with me. I'm renouncing all that I have. And therefore, all the wealth I have, I'm dividing it between you and her. All right? So kindly, since I've taken care of your material life, kindly permit me to move on. This is Yajnavalkya's request. What did Maitreyi do? She didn't say, oh, you know what? If you give me 60 and give her 40, I'll accept it. Today's life may be like that, okay? You give me something more, then I'll take your deal, maybe. We'll negotiate. She said, okay, you are going away for Amritatvam. Will I get that same Amritatvam, that same thing you're seeking, by the wealth you're giving me? Will I get it? Pujaswami will say, modern man will say what? Of course you will. So that you let me go. But Yajnavalkya is not like that. So Yajnavalkya says what? Amritatvasya nashasti vittena. That's the words. That's the quotation you're seeing here. Amritatvasya na asha asti vittena. It's not nasha asti, okay? Amritatvasya na asha asti vittena. I think I can make it bigger for you. Give me 1 second. No, that's too big. Yeah, big enough? Okay, that should be good. So amritatvasya na ashasti vittena iti eva hi shrutihi. What does it mean? This freedom from time, this freedom from mortality, that freedom, you don't even have a hope of that with wealth. Vittena, vitta hetuna, vittena. Or vitta being an instrument, karma, karani. The money, the wealth cannot be an instrument for you to become immortal. Then what will it give you? It will give you the life which resources can give you. Whatever resourceful person can enjoy, that kind of a life resources can give you. Means what? You will be comfortable and miserable, not uncomfortable and miserable. Okay, you understand? See, you can be uncomfortable, poor, no next meal, no proper roof over your head, no help of any kind, no relatives, no support system, and you can be sad. Or you can be very well resourced. You can have a large palace. You can have attendants for you every time. You can have a big support system, you know, and whatever you wish is given to you by people around you, and still you can be unhappy. Which one do you prefer? You have a choice, okay? You can be comfortable and unhappy or uncomfortable and unhappy. Which is better? You decide, okay? But the fact is what? This sense of being bound, being mortal, does not change. A rich man also has to die, a poor man also has to die. There's no choice there. And there's no freedom from sadness for either of them. Only question is what makes you sad? One is unhappy because he doesn't have citizenship of two other countries, and one is unhappy because he doesn't even have the ability to eat his next meal. That's the only difference. All right. So this is what is said. So does it mean wealth is useless? No. Resources and wealth are not useless. But wealth and resources cannot give you freedom. Freedom from time, freedom from death, freedom from sense of being bound. That they cannot give you. We are not saying wealth is useless. In fact, you need wealth even to buy a book. Even to buy today, a book is not enough. What do you need? You need electronic notebook because everything is electronic now. To attend a Zoom class, you need a computer or need a smartphone. You need to pay for that too. You need a broadband connection. You need to pay for that too. You need a well lit room. You need to pay for that too. Therefore, don't ever say resources are useless. We never have a problem with wealth. Wealth for us is Lakshmi, valuable. We respect her. We welcome her. More the merrier. No problem. We are not a culture which says wealth is a disabler. Never. Annam bahu kurvita. Taittiriya will say, Annam bahu kurvita. You bring a lot of food into your house. How do you get food? You should be one who has wealth for it. Bahu vrihi you should be. One who has a lot of rice, vrihi. So only a person who has a lot can feed others. And in our culture, the value was you feed people. Annadanam is a great danam because a fellow will say, I had enough. Thank you. So Annadanam is to be done. It should be given freely. Not just to humans, it can be given to bhutas also. Bhuta yajna you do. Not just giving food, you can give places for people to rest, people to have a place to live. Vidya danam you give. All this you can do. Therefore, wealth is not a problem. If you want to have Veda Pathshala, it doesn't run on air. You need a infrastructure even for that. Therefore, wealth is something which we respect. But wealth should be used for what it's supposed to be used, not misused, not disused. Right? Disuse means what? You never use it. You stack it all up, and when you go, your brother-in-law gets it. That's all. That wealth is neither enjoyed by you nor by anybody who you could have helped. And you feel so unhappy at the end because it's all going to brother-in-law. You didn't want to give it to him. So it'll go there. What can you do? Or son-in-law. It depends, where it goes. But the fact is, wealth has to be used appropriately for dharma, for your own growth, for the growth of others. Otherwise, you are called what? Kripana, a miser. Because you cannot use what you have in your hand. Neither can you use it for yourself, nor can you use it for others. Therefore, what do you understand by this? That moksha, vimukti, cannot be a function of the wealth you have. Okay? What else can you get? What else can give it to me? Artha, kama, dharma. Basically, I'll tell you what. To gain anything, we recognize only two means. Two primary means. One is a gain of what you really don't have. The second is a gain of what you imagine you don't have. There's only two possibilities, okay? Something you really don't have, or something you imagine or you think you don't have. Suppose you think you don't have, I think I don't have my glasses. I need a pair of glasses. What should I do? Go to a optometrist and get a new pair of glasses? Is that what I need to do? No. I just have to be made aware of the fact that it is right on my head and it comes down. This is one kind of gain. A gain which is a gain still, because in my mind it was not there. The second gain is this. I don't have my glasses. I have to go and get one now. Right? Somebody has to bring me, whatever I have to do, right? I may order it, but I have to do something. In one, I have to know that I already have it. In the other, I need to do something to get what I want. Is this clear? There is no third way of gaining anything in life. If somebody has an idea of gaining any other way, I would be happy to entertain that idea, to understand what the person can gain by. There are only two ways. One is dhyana, which is the gain of what was seemingly not with you. And the second gain is a gain of something that you currently do not possess. That is by kriya, action, karma. So there are only two ways to gain a thing. Karma or jnana. Anything in the universe. Okay. Now, what is moksha? Moksha, we said, is aikya bodha. Aikya bodha. The knowledge of one. What kind of one? A one which does not brook a second. A one which does not brook a second thing. Now, what do I see? I see me and I see a million other things. So what I see is all manyness, nanatvam. So if this is the truth, then there is no way I can have that aikya bodha, that I am the only reality. Because this is the way it's been, it will be like this. The world is not going to come to an end. Therefore, if aikya bodha is moksha, it is not a one by destroying all the other things, but it's a one which is by seeing a reality which includes all that I count as real right now. Okay? So it is a cognitive shift. It's an understanding which I don't have today. I don't know that one thing, knowing which I can count one and can't count more. I don't know such a reality. Therefore, that is the only way this moksha can be gained. Why? Because there is no way I, as an individual, can destroy everything else. And can I destroy the earth I am on? Can I destroy the air I am breathing? Can I destroy the water I drink? Can I destroy everything and be? It's impossible. Therefore, karma cannot be a means for this freedom called moksha. Therefore, the only way to gain it is jnanam. Therefore, what does it mean now? Before one pursues or begins in the pursuit of moksha, we have to understand, what does moksha mean? Moksha means oneness, non-dually one. I have to recognize I am non-dually one. And that cannot be something I accomplish in time by dint of effort, by karma. This the Shruti makes very clear. Okay? So that is what second line in the verse we are looking at says. What does it say? It says, Braviti karmano muktehe ahetutvam sphutam yataha. Braviti. Shruti braviti. The Shruti says what? Karmanaha muktehe ahetutvam. Karmanaha muktehe ahetutvam. What is ahetutvam? Hetutvam means status of being a cause. Ahetutvam not being the status of a cause. Cause for what? Mukti. Freedom from what? From a sense of mortality, from a sense of smallness, from anything you don't like. Therefore, in karma, what happens? You, the karta, the doer, will obtain something which you add to your portfolio. You remain an individual, a limited individual, and you have a larger portfolio. You're a horse racing fellow, you have acquired one more horse for your stable. You remain the same fellow. The horse is other than you. You are not the winning horse. You have a winning horse. And you acquired the horse in an auction, and tomorrow that horse may not run. And all your bets on the horse are off. Or it may run tomorrow and day after it's not there anymore. Anything is possible. Whatever is acquired can be lost. And when I say acquire, acquisition can also be of an absence of something. An acquisition can also be in terms of removing something. I want a freedom from a disease. The disease has to be removed. That is also an acquisition. It's an effort. Something real has to be removed, avoided. Something has to be gained. Both are included in the word gain, acquisition. Therefore, anything that can be acquired is other than you. Anything that can be gotten rid of by you is other than you. Where do you stand? You better be the same fellow. If you are displaced in the process of acquisition, you will be wanting to acquire and somebody else will acquire. Like the modern stories, sometimes, or court cases. You want to get something in the court you're fighting, your great-grandson will get you. You're gone already. You filed the case, but great-grandson is the one who got the property. So this is not what we are talking about. We are saying karma means what you want, you work for, you gain it. But what do you remain? You remain that person who is the guy who depends on an acquisition to feel better, to feel safe. Okay. So you remain what? You remain wanting. And what do you feel? You feel secure until that acquisition stays with you. It's like the modern day situation where you are like minister and you let's say you talk all kinds of irresponsible things, but you have a Z category security. And therefore nobody can get you. right? But even though you feel nobody can get you, you're still afraid. One day government will collapse. One day government will run its term. Then where will you be? You will not enjoy Z category or A category, any category. You will be insecure only, unsecured by forces. Then where do you stand? And even if you are the president of the United States, somebody tells you we're going to get you this time, you know, he has to lose his sleep because he doesn't know where they'll get him, how they'll get him, right? So the point is, any amount of security you have is security from what? In fact, you have really no security because you know what Bhagavan says? I come in the form of food. I come in the form of air. I come in the form of water. Because you have papa karma. You have to get the phala of papa karma. I come in all those forms. Ye prithivyam, ye antarikshe, ye divi yesham annam vato, varshamishavaste. All these are Rishavaha. Food, water, air, everything is like an arrow in the hands of Bhagavan. When your karma phala is due, it will come to you. Are you going to stop breathing? That's what COVID came as. It came in the air. You get a waterborne infection. What is happening there? It comes in the form of water. You thought you'll enjoy a great meal and you went on food poisoning. Bhagavan comes as food too. Therefore, when your karma catches up with you, you can't protect yourself. It'll catch up with you. So understand there is no escape from what is. Everything comes back. So karma, whatever is gained, is in time. Whatever is lost or gotten rid of is also in time. Therefore, moksha can never give you advaitam, can never give you aikyam, because you will be there and all the things you depend upon, you will count. Swamiji, how will I ever become one when there are so many? That is something we have to look into. Because what you think you are, if that is flawed, then we have room to negotiate on that. Okay. So the basic problem is you have assumed you are in trouble because your self-identity is in trouble. That is what Vedanta is going to address. But to start with, you must understand there is no way I can have this absolute freedom from a sense of smallness or lack by depending on something which is gained by karma. This is what you will hear in the Upanishads. Na karmana, na prajaya, dhanena, tyage naike, amritatvama nashuhu. You'll hear that statement. So, na karmana. What are the other three? Na prajaya, dhanena. Look, it is not that there are three ways to gain something. One is karma, one is praja, one is dhanam. No, that's not a good way to understand it. Karma is an action. An action requires resources, artha. Some actions, Vedika actions, don't just require physical resources, they also require that you must have a son. If you want to achieve certain things, you must have a son. Because only when a son is there, you can do certain rituals. Because in case you drop the body before you complete it, that fellow has to complete it. He inherits your debts and liabilities, including your karma. Therefore, in the Vedika language, you to do karma, what do you need? Na karmana. By karma, you cannot gain. But what does karma need? Praja, dhana, all these you need. Then how will I gain moksha? Tyage naike amritatvam anashuhu. Tyagena, eke. By giving up also, you're not going to become free. So you're rich and miserable. Therefore, you decide, I will become free. How? Give up all the riches. You will still be miserable. Only thing now I told you, you'll be uncomfortable and miserable. So giving up is not the means for freedom. Giving up is the means for giving up. That's all. Be free from some. You create more room in your house. Your attics will be clear, so you can put new things in there by giving up what you already have. But giving up is not freedom. Acquiring is not freedom. Holding on to is not freedom. Avoiding is not freedom. The fact that you had avoid means you're afraid something can affect you. Therefore, freedom should not depend on anything else, means you must be independent of everything else. And everything else, anything else can only be acquired through karma. Therefore, na karmana is enough for us. Prajaya dhanena is actually a ancillary to karma. Therefore, Vivek Chudamani is telling us what clearly. Understand that the Shruti, it says in so many words that by karma you cannot get the freedom, the ultimate freedom you want to look for, which already is yours actually. But just because you don't know, you're struggling. That freedom cannot come by karma phala. It has to come through bodha, through understanding. Okay? Because before we begin the pursuit, one must be clear what is it we're trying to pursue and what are the means. Because when you have an end, sadhyam, what is the means? Sadhanam is extremely important. When you know what is the end, only when you know what's the end, the nature of the end, the means becomes clear. If the end was something to be acquired in time, means would be karma. If the end is already accomplished, the mean cannot be karma. It has to be correction of an error that I don't have it. Okay? That is being made very clear in this situation, in this verse right here. So what did it say? It says, karmanaha muktehe ahetutvam sputam braviti. Sputam is adverbial, in a way in which it is clear, very clearly, the Shruti mentions the karma, any karma is not a means for this freedom we are talking about. Therefore, what should you do? That's the next verse. So what did it say? Ato vimukyai prayateta vidwan
अतो विमुक्त्यै प्रयतेत विद्वान्
sanyasta bhahyartha sukasprihas san
सन्न्यस्तबाह्यार्थसुखस्पृहः सन्
santam mahantam samupetya deshikam
सन्तं महान्तं समुपेत्य देशिकम्
tenopadishtartha samahitatma.
तेनोपदिष्टार्थसमाहितात्मा
Ataha. Ataha means what? Therefore. What is therefore? Because there is no possibility of gaining moksha, mukti, by karma. Therefore, what should you do? Don't do anything, because it's already a fact. See, that's what it can be. One answer can be like that, What is Shruti saying? You're already free. If I am already free, why should I do anything? Okay, I'm already free. Wonderful. Do you feel that way? No, no. So do something. But doing won't give me anything. Na karmana. Therefore, don't do anything. Let moksha come and somehow crash into me. I'll get it. No. Prayateta. You have to put an effort. Yatna is effort. Prayateta. One must put an effort. Third person. One must put in an effort. Prayateta. Who? Vidwan. This much understanding you have gained. That moksha is a possibility because Veda says so, and it can only come from knowing. It cannot come from becoming free. You don't become free. You recognize you are never bound. That's what it means by prayateta here. The yatnam is not in terms of doing something to gain something. Even if you gain, what you gain, you're going to gain the preparedness for this knowledge. That yatnam may be required. Karma is required there. But finally, for moksha, what you need, the knowledge that you are already free. That is only by knowledge. Okay? So knowledge is that I am already free. In order to gain that knowledge, whatever has to be done has to be done. It won't come by just sleeping, by doing nothing. That's very important to recognize that you are not going to, somehow bump into your freedom. That bumping into freedom is what we do today. We bump into a moment of joy and we assume that the joy we bumped into, the joy happened, it came, it was created. That is not a possibility in reality. But we don't recognize it. But those encounters with my own truth of joy make me know what I'm really looking for always is that happy me. I want to be that happy me all the time. And if I can be that happy me all the time, that is freedom. Without effort, without fear of losing it. That is what moksha is. That I'm comfortable being myself. Happy doesn't mean you have to smile all the time and laugh. Right? We are happy. Early morning, you're happy. Are you laughing? No. Laughing all the time may be a madman's sign. It's not a happy man's sign. It's a problem. So don't assume happiness means he all the time. That's not true. It just means you're comfortable, totally comfortable being yourself. You don't want anything to be different. That's important. You don't depend on anything changing for you to be okay. You're comfortable with what is, which means you live your life freely. You relate freely. All right. So what does it say? Saying, Ataha, therefore, vimuktyai prayateta vidwan. May one strive for, may a person who understands this fact that only knowledge will give moksha, may he strive, put in all his effort for what? This freedom. How should he do so? Sanyasta bhakyartha sukhasprihas san. San being. Asdhatu san santo santa. Shatra pratyaya. Being what? Sanyasta bhakyartha sukhasprihas san. So one compound consists of what? Two compounds in a way. First, sanyasta, and second is bhakyartha sukha spriha. Spriha. What is bhakyartha sukha spriha? Spriha means a desire, a longing. Sprih, to desire. Spriha, desire. For what? Sukha, comfort, happiness. Stemming from what? Bhakyartha. Bhakyartha nimitta sukha spriha. I'm making it a madhyapada lopa samasa. So, or you can say bhakyarthena sukha. That's also okay. Hetu. Tritiya. So, bhakyartha sukha spriha means what? This is our normal life. What is normal life? Anytime you find a moment of joy, it depends on something accomplished. If I ask you, why are you happy? You have a reason for it. I'm happy because I got a chocolate. I'm happy because I got a job. I'm happy because what? Because I got a pair of glasses. Whatever it might be, okay? Something you have. Is this true? Are you always happy for a reason? Which means happiness is born of a reason. And what kind of a reason? Bhakyartha. Bhakya means what? Outer. Antara, inner. Bhakya, outer. Outer means what? Outer to what? Outer to your senses. Outer to my senses. What are my senses? One sense is the sense of touch. What is that? The whole body. The other senses are eyes, nose, only on the face. But one sense is whole body. Therefore, what is bhakya? Outside the body. Right? So, you want some sukha, some pleasure, something gained through contact with an object outside other than your body. It could be in the form of some objects. It could be in the form of an experience gained by putting the body in certain situations, by putting the senses in particular situations. It could be because of a job. It could be anything. But it is not with you right now. And it has to be gained by aligning yourself and working for it in some way. Sometimes it may happen without your working for it deliberately in this lifetime. Because you find yourself with an inheritance. Father has got enough wealth to take care of you for your life. That's an inheritance. So I didn't work for it. You didn't work for it this life, true. But that you are born that family is your karma. It's you have paid for it in the past. It's prepaid. It's a prepaid mobile, it's a prepaid service. You already paid for it before. Don't think there's nothing free. It's always paid for. Nothing comes for free. Therefore, now you want moksha. And what do you discover of moksha? It is aikya bodha, knowledge of that non-dual oneness. And it cannot be gained through an action. Therefore, if I want that freedom, what do I understand? I understand these ends and means, which are different from this body, outside this body, external to the body, can only give me a new acquisition or getting rid of what is already there. They cannot change my identity of myself. They cannot. Therefore, if moksha is what I'm after, and moksha is only by knowing that I'm already free, no external object, experience, or acquisition is going to deliver the goods. Is this clear? No external object can be the reason for my becoming free. In fact, I don't become free. I have to know I am already free. If this is clearly understood, what is my value for all these things outside? When I'm trying to pursue moksha, I don't want anything to do with them, because in my attempt to holding on to all these sucks my life out, keeps me engaged in the world. And the minute I don't want it, I have a huge relief in a way. It's not able to throw anything away, but if it goes, it's okay. I can still have it. I don't need to throw it away. But if it goes, it's okay. If something else comes, it's okay too. Which means the outer happenings do not take my mind away from my pursuit. Because I understand none of those can be the cause for what I am seeking, which is a freedom, a total freedom from a sense of lack. Because that cannot come with anything outside. Because I remain the same wanting, small, insignificant fellow who becomes significant temporarily by associating with something else. This is a huge discovery to be made. And if a lifetime is spent discovering this, that lifetime is worth it. Because one may not get to moksha immediately, it doesn't matter, but it's still a progress that you recognize this will not deliver. Because until I discover it won't deliver, I cannot let go. I cannot let go. Because I am a person who wants to be secure. And a bird in hand is worth two in the bush. I will not let go a bird in the hand. Why would I? If I let go, I have a feeling I'll get 10 by letting go one. I'm willing to take a risk. That's what is called risk taking, Nobody takes a foolish risk unless they're foolish. You take a risk which you think is reasonable. You say, I'm willing to take this chance because I think I am going to come out bigger. You're willing to postpone current enjoyment because you expect a future enjoyment. You're willing to put away your savings in a bank, assuming that the interest is taken care of for you later. You're willing to invest in the equity market because you think that the gains will far outdo what you can get elsewhere. You're willing to take care of your children today sometimes because you think the children will be your emotional and financial support later in life. Look at how we do things in life. We do things because we have something to gain from it. We hold on because we have something which it will give me. But what would be my attitude if I knew that something is of absolutely no use and in fact is something which is taking my time away? What would I do? Like my garbage at home. I have put everything in the garbage bin. What is my attitude towards? And imagine it's not dry, it's wet garbage. Your vegetable peels and waste, fruit waste. How long do you want to hold on to it for? Organic waste. How long do you want to hold on for it for? You don't want to hold it on for any more time than necessary because it starts to stink. So, what is your attitude towards it? Good riddance. You don't want it. Okay? In the same way, if you discover that everything that you have valued and you try to hold on only takes your mind away from the pursuit of this one freedom, what your attitude towards all of them would be? To say, let them go. As I said, I am not throwing anything away. Understand this. It is not physically getting rid of anything. It is just the value for it is subtracted. Which means that you don't regret having given something away. That's not the way. Because you know what? You went to one guru and he told you, yes, you have to give up everything. That's what to do. Give me all the money. Right? Earlier, you had the money, he had the wisdom. Now he has the money, you have the wisdom. That's what will happen. Okay? So the point is, doesn't make you happy necessarily. So sannyasa, understand, is not giving up. That word sannyasa, don't take it as giving up. Having outgrown is the right way to understand sannyasa. Translation will always be giving up, dropping, etc. Understand? Having outgrown, which means you never give up anything. You outgrow it. What is the value for a toy which you use, played with as a 5-year-old, 3-year-old? What's the value of a toy today? What's the value for the marbles you played with? What's the value for those little storybooks you collected or stamps you collected when you were a kid? Coins. We all had some funny hobbies, so-called hobbies, okay? You thought that was a big treasure you had to hold on to, some useless things. But what is their value today? Some old diary somebody gave you, drew some pictures and you kept that very safely for a while. How long will you keep it for? You did very well in school and college. You got so many certificates. So you were the best. You were the best sportsman. How long will you hold on to that for? Even Nobel Prize, how long will you hold on? If you can get something more, you'll trade it. You'll give the medal to somebody else because some idiot wants it. So the point is, I'm saying, it is funny. What will a person do with somebody else's Nobel Prize medal? But see the requirement for it. See the need for it. It's an eye opener, that even if you're sitting in a position of high power and you enjoyed enough wealth being a billionaire, you still are a beggar. At heart, you're a beggar. What freedom do you have? Some fellows in some country decide who gets the Nobel Peace Prize, and you desperately want it. And you keep croaking about it all the time. What does it give you? It can't give you the Nobel Prize. But I'm saying, what does it show? That, and is the person with Nobel Prize is giving away the medal. What does that show you again? That the Nobel Prize is not going to give you what you want. That is not what you want. You want to become somebody in Venezuela. That's what you want to become. Two fellows want to become something different and they both have a good deal. That's called deal. Okay? It's like Tom Sawyer's deal, You remember Tom Sawyer's story? Tom Sawyer is doesn't have much, right? But He trades with others. He has a job to do. He has to he has to whitewash his fence, and he's whitewashing it. It's a chore to be done, but he projects it very well. And anybody comes, he's like, hey, come on, I won't let you do it. It's so good. And then one fellow says, hey, come on, I'll give him an apple. Can I do whitewashing for some time? All right. All right. If you want, I'll let you. He happily enjoys the apple. Somebody else comes, gives him something else. With everybody, he trades and he gets the whitewashing done. Enjoys his life. Smart guy. All you need is to create that view that somebody else should value it. Then you have a trade deal possible. It's all about this kind of funny negotiations in the world, okay? You only negotiate because you see value in something and the other fellow sees value in what you have. Correct? So I'm saying, what is really valuable? What's really valuable? The fellow who was the president of Nicaragua, of Venezuela, what's his value today? And the other lady wants to give her Nobel Prize medal and become the president. What's her value in it today? It's all fleeting if we see it. But we don't see it fleeting. We think that is the goal of life. Only when you get what you think is your goal, you recognize that is not the goal because you're still running for something else. So when that is recognized, that anything you gain in time can be lost and will be lost in time. And where will you be again? Running after something else. Even when you have it, you run after something else. You have one begum, you want two more begums. Therefore, when do you stop running? So when you recognize none of this is freedom, and you also recognize Shruti is telling you moksha is an absolute freedom, you want it, then what is your attitude to everything else? I don't want anything else. They all become impediments to my pursuit because my mind is distracted by all these values I hold. I outgrow it. And I'm saying, any amount of stressing this is not enough because we somehow think moksha is a brilliant thing. I want it and I also want the other things. It doesn't work that way because it's like saying, I want the pot and I want clay also. It's not like that. When you understand clay, you won't want to hold on to the pot anymore because clay is all there is. This is not understood by us because it's unlike everything else in the world. In everything else, it is karmana eva praptavyam. You have to gain it through an action. This is one thing where you gain by letting go. Not by letting go merely, but recognizing that what you're letting go is only your notions of value. But to see it's a notional value, I must have gained that understanding. Otherwise, I will have a notional freedom. Because I gave up and now I cry. I gave up everything I had. That doesn't help. So understand this is not a mandate. This is understanding. It's outgrowing. Therefore, what does that become? Person become? He becomes sanyasta bhahyartha sukhaspriha. So bhahyartha sukhaspriha sanyastaha yena saha. The desire for a sukha which is brought about by an object outside, that desire itself is outgrown by one. It's called sanyasta bhakyartha sukha spriha. Sanskrit students can note spriha becomes spriha, gives you a hint. It is bahuvrihi. Okay. So being a person like that means having grown. This is called vairagyam. Okay. This is called vairagyam. Nothing else is vairagyam. Then what do? All right, I gave up all the things I valued. Now what? Then I'll be a zombie. I'll just sit around here and there. That won't work. Doing nothing won't give you freedom. I told you, giving up doesn't give you freedom. What will? Knowing will give freedom. How do I know? You know that the things outside are not going to make me free totally. That you know. But you don't know what to make you free. Because if you're already free, you should have been free right now. Why are you not free? Something else is lacking. What is lacking? The knowledge is lacking. For that, what should you do? Santam mahantam samupetya deshikam. Santam mahantam samupetya deshikam. Tena upadishtartha samahitatma. So, you have to approach samupetya, samyak upetya, approaching in an appropriate way. Approaching in an appropriate way. Whom should you approach? Deshikam. Dishati, one who instructs, one who teaches, one who removes your ignorance is called Deshika, a teacher. And what kind of a teacher? Santam Mahantam. Santam Mahantam. Who is Santa? Sadhu. One who knows the truth. Santam. Mahantam. What is greatness? His greatness is he knows that he is what he's talking about. He knows that all that is here is one reality, that I am. Mahantam. There is nothing bigger than me. And that ego is not centered on the body. When he says, I am all that is here, that I is not this body. The I stands for that one reality, which is the truth of you too. And he says that you are. So the you again is pointing to the same reality. That I is pointing to the same reality. Since I don't see it, it has to be pointed out. And he is not coming on the street saying, like somebody comes on the street. What does he say on the street? Aloo, 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 aloo. 5 rupiya 100 kilo, 5 rupiya 100 kilo. This is not the way. Potatoes for 100 rupees 5 kilos. That's not what he's selling. Guru doesn't come around screaming like that with a megaphone. What does he do? He is where he is. You go. You find a person. Prayerfully, you try to approach that person and say, sir, can you please help me? That is samupetya. Parikshalokan karmachitan brahmana nirvedamayat. That's the first half of this verse, literally. Having examined all the fields of experience, one has to gain that vairagyam, that dispassion, that nothing in the world is going to make me whole. Nirvedamayat. Nastya kritena. What I'm really seeking is limitless. Why do you say I'm seeking the limitless? Because I'm seeking forever. When I'm seeking all the time, it means I want to be free all the time. And if I want to be free all the time, in all places, in all situations, relating or not relating, it better be me. I should be the free fellow. If I should be the free fellow, then I understand one thing. This freedom is not centered on anything outside other than me. That is what it means to say, Nasti akritaha kritena karmana. Mundakopanishad. There is nothing. What you're seeking is uncreated, uncreatable. Akritaha. Therefore, tadvijnanartham sa gurumeva vigachet samitpanihi shrotriyam brahmanishtham. To gain that understanding, that freedom, you approach a teacher. How? Samitpanihi. Carrying samit. Samit is actually sticks to be offered in the fire. It stands for going with an attitude which is, I'm willing to give anything I have to learn from you. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm willing to be a contributor to your causes. Because you have no agenda. You have nothing to gain from me. Because you are free. So you don't depend on anything external, obviously. Therefore, what will make you teach me? You don't need to teach me at all. But out of some compassion, you teach me. I want to invoke that compassion in you. I want to invoke that teacher in you. So whatever it takes, let me do. That's the idea. So you go respectfully. Like Swami, you would say, not Swami. Yeah. Can I ask you a question? What's it? Phone. What is moksha? Cell phone moksha. Cell phone moksha you get now. Because Swami is sitting in somebody's house, and that somebody had invited him for bhiksha. And this fellow is a big guy, who is known to the person who's giving bhiksha. He says, they told, hey, we have Swami at home. Can I talk to Swami for a minute? Yeah, this is what he asks. That is called, that is not called approaching properly, okay? Approach in a way which is proper. You don't take it too lightly. Some people say like that. You know what? We got the Swami. He's going to come and do the talks. We got him. What does it mean? It means you just hired him or what? Not true. People think like that because they think everybody is saleable sometimes for a price. Not a sadhu. Apparently Alexander the Great, with some reverence he went to see sadhus. But he said, I want to give something. They said, we don't need anything, go away. He insisted, no, I have to give something. He was getting angry. Then one of them said, okay, do me a favor. Just move away so sunlight I will receive. You're blocking the sunlight. So the whole point is I'm saying, you don't need anything. But this idiot wants to give you something. What will you do? Okay, just move away. Let me have some sunlight. The idea is this, not that a Mahatma will say, just block, don't give me anything. But idea is that doesn't need anything. He has no reason to help you or do anything against you either. He is free being himself. He's a Mauni Baba sitting in a cave. He doesn't want anything from you anyway. Therefore, this idea that, if you're really interested, what should you do? First, you have to be free from a craving for things outside, value for things outside. You outgrow it. Having outgrown, you don't go to sit around. Yateta. Effort continues. For what? Finding someone who can make you now see, all right, you're no longer interested in all this, but still even though you have no interest, this body won't give you up. The mind won't give you up. The mind that feels pain doesn't walk away from you. It walks with you. You decided whole life, I'm a failure. All this is useless. Now you got some vairagya and you walked away. When you walk away, what goes with you? Your mind goes with you. I am a failure goes with you. I am a useless guy goes with you. I trusted all the wrong people in my life goes with you. How are you going to be at peace? How will you escape this fellow? As Swami would say, you traveling alone on the plane, but all these fellows travel with you without ticket. All the guys who bother you, who bug you, they are with you. They don't need a separate ticket. They occupy the same seat as you and bug you even in the flight. Therefore, there is no running away from yourself. There is no running away. How do I free myself from my own sense of smallness? Only by understanding that that sense of smallness really doesn't belong to me. That a teacher has to make me see. And by the people around me, by being exposed some paperback literature, I know that there is something called moksha. And by looking at the behavior of certain or reading about certain, great teachers, I know they lived that life of freedom. Therefore, it's a possibility. And if it's a possibility, it's worth my attempt, because anyway, all of these are not going to give me what I want. I'm not going to be a loser because I'm already a loser anyway. Born loser. Therefore, if at all there is something to be gained, I'll only gain. I won't lose anymore, right? I feel small now, I'll feel small again. What's the big deal? That's the thinking. Therefore, it's a risk worth taking. And the risk is not a blind risk. It is based on what Shruti tells me. Shraddha. Therefore, what does the person do? He is Santam Mahantam Saupetadeshikam Tena Upadishtartha Samahitatma. So, Tena Upadishtartha, whatever is taught by him, by the teacher, in that you place your mind, you become one with that teaching. You imbibe, you abide in that teaching. This is the journey. The journey is what? You outgrow your value for things other than yourself, for all things around you. Then you go for this knowledge. Having gained that mind, to outgrow means you have grown so much, you can handle a lot of things in life. Situations don't bother you anymore. You're able to take life as it comes. Now you can pursue only this knowledge to the exclusion of everything else. Until then, to say I will pursue knowledge to the exclusion of karma can be misleading. Because, no, I will do something, but what you do, you're choosing what you do, which means you're choosing to go along with your likes and dislikes again. Going along with your like dislikes won't free you from your likes and dislikes. This is something you have to note. I like to do a few things, I'll do that. That won't free you from your raga dvesha. So should I do what I don't like? No, you do what is to be done. And in that, if there is a situation which require you to go against your likes and dislikes, you have to. But if I choose what I want, what I like already, that possibility is denied in a way. So therefore, Bhagavan gives us situations to grow in some ways, okay? Not that you have to get stuck there, but we have to see that whatever is my life today, I have to live it with that attitude. Therefore, this is the path. So once you outgrow your needs, which means you're a person now who is ready for exclusive pursuit of knowledge. Until then, also you're pursuing knowledge, but knowledge along with your duties. That's what most of us are doing right now. We have things to do, but we also pursue knowledge. And in the process, you're growing into that person who cognitively recognizes the lack of value of things other than what we want, which is moksha. And when that, as that value grows on me, without my willing, without my attempting, things fall off my life. The value for them falls off. Things don't fall off, the value falls off. And the value falls off, the things are harmless because they can't get me anymore. If I value it, is when it impacts me. If I have no great value for it, it's like a child's game, You play it and you leave it. Doesn't matter. That is growth. So this whole process has to happen. This cannot be short-circuited. One has to grow. And Vivek Chudamani is going to talk only of a person who has grown enough. So we shouldn't think we are there already. We should know where we stand, okay? It's very important. Otherwise, you say, Swamiji, tomorrow, Sanyasa, Sarva, giving up everything, I'll walk away. It won't work that way, okay? Be very alive to what's being said. So that's what it's saying. Then what do they say? Uddharetatmanatmanam
उद्धरेतात्मनात्मानम्
magnam samsara varidhau
मग्नं संसारवारिधौ
yoga rudhattvamasadya
योगारूढत्वमासाद्य
samyak darshana nishtaya.
सम्यग्दर्शननिष्ठया.
So this first word you can recognize from Gita. Uddharet atmana atmanam. Ud means up. Hriu to take away. Uddharet, to lift up. Uddharet. Whom should you lift up? Atmanam, yourself. You have to lift yourself up. How? By yourself. Atmana. How do you put yourself down? By yourself. How do you do that? I am useless. I have always been useless. I have never been successful. I was a burden to my parents. All my relationships were unsuccessful. My job was not a successful thing. I have never done anything useful in life. This is all called what? Success? Putting yourself up or putting yourself down? This is all putting myself down. And further what? I will never improve. I don't think I will ever get moksha in this lifetime. Forget moksha, I can't even get a job. Swami, I'm good for nothing. Swami, what can I do now? It's all over. I didn't do what I had to do when I was young. You know, somebody told me yesterday, person is around 75. Swamiji, how was your day? I had a good day. I went and played some golf and met some friends. I said, good, very nice. But then he suddenly sees me. So he says, but Swamiji, I have no spiritual interest. I wish I had gone to a Gurukulam when I was young. I said, you can even now be interested. See, that's not what they want to hear. That's not what they want to hear. The fellow wants me to say, yeah, you should have gone to Gurukulam. I'm not like that. I smiled and said, yeah, but you can get interested even now. So the fellow has no place to escape. Yeah, it's true, I can get there even now. Then what? But what? But I'm more interested in golf. Say that. That's okay with me. I have no problem. You play golf, okay? His value is for golf and a cup of, a few drinks with his friends. That's what his value is for. What's wrong with that? For him, there's nothing wrong because that's where he sees his life. He's had a hard life. He's worked hard. He's retired now. He's earned his life of golf and drinks. Until he values that, that's what will attract him. There's no other choice. But he lost his wife. It was a shocker. He lost his brother's wife. That was a shocker too. So then each time it comes, something happens. I should get a little spiritual. But then the spirit comes back. Spiritual doesn't come back, spirit comes back. So what can I do? So when you're jolted, you have some vairagyam for a day. That's called smashana vairagyam. Then it gets covered up again. So when in trouble, this is called artha bhakta, okay? Not even an artharthi. When in trouble, you have something. Otherwise, no. That doesn't work. Uddharet. See, at any stage, at any point in life, who can lift you? You. So, with your own judgments of yourself, your own judgment of your capacities or incapacities, you either lift yourself up or put yourself down. So I decide I'm no good. I don't think I can study commerce. Science, forget it. Commerce, also I can't. So what should I study? I will take up history. You already decided you're messed up. That's your problem. And so after going for history, what will I get? I won't get a job anyway. But I don't know what else to do. This is the way we work, wherein we put ourselves down. Instead of showing confidence, you put diffidence in your own mind. And where you can use your will, you refuse to use it. So it's like this, the typical problem of sunk capital. You sink capital in some venture. Okay. Let's say you invested 10 crores and it is bleeding you. It's costing you a lot of money every day just to keep it afloat. Now, what would be a wise thing to do? Shut the door if you can. No, you borrow another 10 crores and you bleed double that now. Why? I've already invested 10 crores. Now what happened? Now you invested 20 crores. Can you let go now? Add another 10 crores. Until you go bankrupt or nobody is willing to lend you money, you keep doing it. Or, you know what? You borrow money. In order to repay the money, you borrow more money. And in order to repay that money, you borrow more money. Until when? Until you're in a debt trap. This is what happens even in countries, forget individuals. Therefore, why do you do that? Many a time, if you notice, many of our choices are based on sunk capital syndrome. I have put so much into it, therefore I can't let go. You don't think of what it's going to do for the future. You are only worried about what your past investment in it is. Past investments don't necessarily mean future returns. It is better to cut out a bad investment. I invested in bad company, get out of it. I invested in bad choices, get out of it. You know, I have lived a life which is not honest. Get out of it. No, but it's hopeless. Now there's no point. I'll continue to lie. That doesn't help. So I'm saying, am I willing to change, or am I just going to cry over my past and say my life is done already? Uddharet atmanatmanam. Lift yourself up. And here Bhagavan is not saying about just living. He says, you're magnam samsara varidhau. You're you're sinking. You're immersed. Where? In the ocean of becoming. Whole life you have been wanting to become better, wanting to become different. Till today, you have not become what you want to be. You're still wanting to become. The process of wanting never ends. Have you recognized that, my dear friend? If you have, wake up. That's what he's saying. Uddharet. Recognize this wanting will never continue insofar as you're interested in something other than yourself. It won't end. You'll only be a more comfortable wanting person or less comfortable wanting person. Wealthy and wanting, poor and wanting. Well related and wanting, unrelated and wanting. Wanting won't go away. Uddharet. Lift yourself. Because you are sunk in an ocean. You cannot swim out of it. It's an ocean of becoming. Ocean means boundless, no limits. You can't see its shores. It's water all around. No hope of swimming across it. Uddharet. Lift yourself up. You alone can have to lift yourself up. Otherwise, what happens? You go and tell somebody, you know what? I started one startup. I had so many savings. I put that. Went. Half of my savings went. Then I didn't give up, Swamiji. I went to second startup. I lost the remaining 50%. Then what happened? Then third, I didn't have any money. I went to my friend and made him also bankrupt. Now what? Now, Swamiji, I want to get into my fourth startup. And in the process, I lost 3 marriages also. So what do you do with that? But the fellow is committed to making his startup successful. He has to become one more person like the founders of Yahoo or Apple. His dream is only that much. It's the only way he can dream of. This is non-thinking. Because he says, I already gave up my job. I'm burnt out with 2 startups. So I can't go back to a job now. Let me try a third startup. See the kind of thinking we have. We never think fundamentally, what am I really after? Am I after wealth? Is Bill Gates happy today? I mean, are they satisfied in life or are they struggling still? Or are they saying yes, sir, to their board of directors, everyone now, shareholders? Are the presidents and prime minister in democracy happy, or are they saying yes, namaste to all the voters? When are you free from being indebted and wanting somebody to bless you? When will you be free? Uddharet, wake up. Uttishtata, jagrata, wake up. Prapyavaran nibodhata. Go to somebody who knows better. Try to understand what life is about. Try to understand the ends and means and their limitations. Uddharet. Uddharet atmanatmanam magnam samsara varidhau. Yogarudhattvamasadya samyak darshana nishtaya. Nishtha is abidance. Samyak darshana is right seeing. The whole problem is life is wrong vision of myself and the world. The solution is corrected vision, right vision. Samyak darshana nishtaya. With the abidance of this truth, in the truth of myself, which is I am non-dual whole. Yoga rudhattama sadhya. You become one who has climbed on yoga, who has mounted yoga. It means who has gained the ends of yoga. Yoga can be both karma yoga and dhyana yoga here. Yoga rudhattama sadhya. Karma yoga means what? You gain that ability to accept karma phala as it comes, whether it's less, more, or equal to, or opposite what you want. The ability to manage your likes and dislikes because you're able to accept what comes in your life. That is yoga rudhattama if it's karma yoga. Dhyana yoga is you have practiced this ability to stay with anything for length of time does not come just because I read about it. It only comes because I spent time on it, and time on it repeatedly. You need to practice the ability to stay with a given thought for a length of time. And that is called again yoga rudhattama, can be said. Only then you can abide in this knowledge with this clarity. So he's saying that's what you need to do. That's what is this person, one who's looking for this freedom, that's what he would need to do. And therefore what? Sanyasya sarva karmani bhavabandha vimuktaye yatyatam panditair dhiraihi atmabhyasa upasthitai. Same idea which we saw earlier. Therefore, by the people who are committed to this freedom, to this moksha, by them let effort be put in. Yatyatam karmani prayoga. Yatyatam karmani prayoga lot. Atmabhyasa upasthitai. One who are committed to Atmabhyasa means, practicing themselves. No, repeatedly seeing their truth. How should they do? Sanyasya sarva karmani. Having outgrown all other activities and works. Bhavabandha vimuktaye. To become free from the need to become different from what I am. Okay, we'll stop with that here. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Namaskaram.
Yes, namaste. You have a question?
Oh.
Okay. So there are some questions I have in the mail. I'll take them up. If anybody has a question right now, I'll take it first. Okay, let me look at the questions we have. Okay. So one question is, you had mentioned that anugraha is earned. Does that imply that anugraha is a consequence of karma, or is anugraha outside the karma phala framework? If it is part of the karma framework, what is the role of Ishvara? That's the question. Is the question clear? Okay. See, anugraha is karma phala. Anugraha is karma phala. What is the role of Ishvara? He is the one who gives karma phala. Karma phala data Ishvara. Not that a person is sitting trying to throw one donut at you. That's not the idea. There is an order. When you do a certain karma, Ishvara is the order of karma. Therefore, in keeping with your attitude, your effort, your past karma, and the prayers and everything, one outcome will come to you. And the prayers of others around you. Everything matters. So one outcome will come. But here, when I say anugraha, I mean adrishta. Grace means you can't say what karma brought this grace, but you have a certain favorable situation coming to you. That is called anugraha. That possibility of favorable situation is called anugraha. And that anugraha Has to be earned, I said. And that is karma phala, by doing what is to be done by you or by reaching out. It is given by Ishvara's karma phala. Okay? Then another question is, when the Varnashrama was so strictly followed during Dwapara Yuga and Bhagavan Krishna asked Arjuna to fight according to Kshatriya Dharma, was it right for Drona and Ashwatthama to fight given that they were Brahmanas, which was not their Dharma? Look, they felt compelled to fight. It was not their Dharma. We are not interested. Let them do what they do. We have to do what we have to do, all right? Then, if in the first verse is said that only through Vedanta one can know Brahman. So if I'm in the path of bhakti, will I realize the Mahavakya? See, the questioner has to pay attention to what is being said in the class. Did I ever say by bhakti you will get Mahavakya? So when clearly it is being said, to know that you're already free, there's only one way, okay? There cannot be 10 ways. Understand this very clearly. How many ways are there for you to look at me and see that I'm wearing orange? Tell me how many ways you have. Close your eyes and tell me another way. Please close your eyes and tell me another way to know color, what I'm wearing. Is there another way? Close your ears and tell me another way of hearing a sound. Is there another way? Any knowledge, knowledge is the only way to know what is. There is no other way, okay? You will see in Bhakti, Vivek Chudamani, Bhakti will present it as inquiry. Depends on how you define Bhakti. I never spoke of Bhakti Yoga so far. All right. So if you come up with questions somewhere, you should ask the question who told you that ideas, okay? Don't come to me with those questions. Because you're bringing old baggage. I appreciate your question, but all I'm saying is try to listen to things afresh. Don't try to integrate what you hear with what you already heard. You will have a situation which is neither here nor there. Okay? Bhakti, Vivek Chudamani will describe bhakti is the biggest virtue. Why? Because it is Atma Tattva Anusandhanam. That is bhakti definition in Vivek Chudamani. It will come. I think it's 12th verse or something. I don't remember. No, it is not. But it's a little later. We will see it later, okay? So the point is, bhakti means relating with Ishvara. It is definitely useful. If you mean by bhakti yoga means you are devoted to Ishvara, good. But you better understand what is Ishvara you are devoted to. If you think Ishvara is one form sitting as Krishna, it won't do the job. It will help, but it won't go all the way. To understand, to have bhakti, one must understand Ishvara. You only respect and love something which you really understand. Otherwise, it can be shaken up. Your bhakti can be shaken up in an event of a disaster. Your bhakti can be shaken up if somebody shows you something which hurts you. Can be shaken up. Therefore, anything which is purely belief is subject to going away. So bhakti, if you may relate to it, it's helpful. But don't say by that alone you'll get moksha. That may lead you to a position, that may lead you in life in a way that doors to moksha will open up for you. But finally, moksha is only by knowing that I am already free. It is not gained in time. Okay? So those were the questions I had. Any other questions people have right now? So keep in.
A
Yes.
logistical question. How do I send, to which email should I send the question?
You're welcome to use, who's this?
Akhila here.
Akhila. If you see, are you on the mail list? On the group mail list? Have you joined the
Yes.
Google group?
Yes, yes.
Okay. In the mail itself, you'll see a form where you can enter questions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I'll give you a mail or you can send it to classes.shankar. But I'll give you the link for the link through which you can submit questions. If it's not there, I'll include it today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other question? Okay. I will stop then. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.